Hello and welcome. So, if you guys are in the chat, go ahead and say hello. I see Meg Shabaka. Welcome, welcome. I hope you guys are doing well. Yes. And welcome Sunny to the channel.
Thank you, Sandy. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. And as people are coming in, we'll just go ahead and give them like a minute or two. Okay. And as they're doing that, let me go ahead and clear up my energy. I welcome in my spirit guides and angels and highest and greatest good. I welcome messages of love and light that bring healing and love to all. Please bless this reading. Thank you. So, Sunny,
Hi.
do you have me on YouTube some way, somehow?
No,
Oh, okay. I hear echo. That's why. Unless that was somebody else, or I don't know what was I hearing.
I went straight through the email to the link. I don't even have YouTube up.
Oh, okay.
Am I
Okay. No, I don't hear an echo anymore. But
okay?
okay, that's good. Um, Let me go ahead and also burn a little bit of sage. So, yeah, so today is Sunny's birthday. So, thank you, Shabaka.
Yeah. Happy solar return to me. You were
Yay!
born today. Yeah. This is when the sun returns to its original position as it was the moment you were born and considered to be an extremely significant time of your year. Time to clear the slate. Anything that didn't work out in the last solar year, you just let it go and you're starting fresh. It's about renewal. And so yeah, this was a great day. Got some chores done and things fixed and high energy and good day. Nice weather. So perfectly great day. Good food. Simple things.
Yes.
Yes.
So, I guess, so with this solar return, can you please explain a little bit what that really means? Now, you said that it's a time where you kind of reflect back on the past year. And is there anything that you like to add about this particular solar return in general, or do you want to
It's
speak of
also
your personal?
well, it's a new moon today
Um,
with what is the Lion's Gate, 8-8 Lion's Gate. Um, so anything that you want to manifest, you just have to be very sincere in those thoughts, and it will. So just the same if you're being negative or sabotaging yourself to create things that will manifest. So the kinds of energies, this is Mercury is conjunct this new moon, and that's a lot of information circulating. Mercury is the winged messenger. So you can expect to have information come through. Um, there is a square to Uranus on and off throughout this month that can make information and communication very shocking and sudden. So
mhm,
it's really about trying to stay grounded in a very high energy field. You know,
mhm,
I talk about the electromagnetic waves around our body and in our environment and how we respond to the planets and what they're doing to personal placements in our chart. All of that from ancient times is considered very significant to your life. So for a new moon in Leo, it's all about, if you've had a creative project you've been procrastinating on, Leo is the fire and can kind of get things going under a project. Publishing, it represents children. So, publishing children's books is a goal I know I've come across a lot of people. Just whatever it is that you considered kind of a dream just outside of your reach, this is a really good time over the next couple of weeks to even make notes and research. What is your project? What do you want to do? And get as detailed. And when you're quiet, and when I say meditation, I don't mean just sitting quietly oming. You mean you can play ping pong and meditate. It's whatever it
Mhm.
takes to make your mind focus, and that's different for everyone. So you just plug into what works for you to where your mind is relaxed and there's just a calm knowingness, um, and you get information and you take notes and you just build from there and take that guidance from your heart, because Leo is all about the heart and the upper back. So another kind of quantum physics sort of direction we could go with this energy over the next, week. It's been building up all week. It's at its pinnacle today, but these things, they have a ripple effect in energy and they linger. So would be the energy coming from the planets to the upper back can often cause some shoulder or neck issues
Mhm.
under strong energy like that. So Leo loves luxury. And
Mhm.
so going to a spa or
Mhm.
doing something very pampering, uh,
Mhm.
like we talked about last time, and it's sort of my mantra, is like, do the energy. We run into
Mhm.
trouble when we're trying to do something that's not compliant with the natural flow of the energy we're in. There are times when you move and you do, and there's times when you lay low and be quiet. And definitely a Leo new moon is, get up off the couch and start the first step, however small it is,
Mhm.
to that goal that you've been procrastinating on. And I think when we show an effort, right, you get back what you put out. So if we show positive, sincere, from the heart effort,
Mhm.
that's what the universe gives back to us. When we're putting
Mhm.
out a lot of, we're not sure, we can't make a decision, looking to other people to tell us, those kinds of confusions, that's what the universe gives back, is a lot of confusion. So being a Leo, this is, I'm kind of in my humming zone here. So it's real, this, when you can tune into just the natural state of what you're feeling, then your heart will tell you what you need to do next. And so, yeah, I could say a really kind of off color saying, but I won't. Let's see if I can clean it up.
Okay. I think my audience knows my personality, so,
I'm
yeah.
going to say kicking butt and taking names, right? So
Yeah,
it's a
sounds
real
good.
getting things done. New moon is the new gravitational pull of the moon to us here on the earth, right? And
Mhm.
this particular energy has Mercury in there, and that's a very close, fast moving personal planet. And so you're finding out things come easier to you, that you're looking for information. It's the information highway. So it's an exciting time. And those Uranus squares, there's about 4 of them this year, and those are the ones that I like to see as like the nod from the universe. It says, right, like something
Mhm.
comes easier than you anticipated, or you didn't really try to find something and then all of a sudden it's there, because it was a sincere desire that you find those whole cloves, not
Mhm.
ground. You wanted them whole. And
Mhm.
lo and behold, you look up on the shelf and there they are. So
Oh.
you start simple with the most sincere thing you want. If it's a Reese's candy bar or whatever, but sincerity is the root of manifestation. People will say, oh, I prayed, I pray, and I pray, and nothing ever happens. Well, what you're praying for must not be right in the heart of your soul, because
Mhm.
anything that you deep down feel will come. And so,
Right, with good motivation, good intent, knowing the reasons why things are happening,
yeah,
really taking the time to sit still within yourself, getting down to the root of the cause of the reasons why you're going through those situations,
yeah,
and then taking action, and not just like, sitting here praying, well, I've tried all I could.
I
But did you really think about, like, what you were doing in the first place? And so
know.
I think that in the whole past week, I've been really growing my my collective through the zodiacs. Going through what was Lionsgate bringing to each zodiac sign, and I know that it wasn't. It was really hard to hear for some, possibly because it wasn't like the best attributes that I could bring up for each person, but
It's something.
definitely something that you could like take accountability for, because no one is perfect, and really work on yourself, and see what can you change about yourself, because once you have good motivation and good intent to really change yourself, then you will see the results.
Right, right.
Yeah.
It's just as simple as that. We make it very complicated. You might say it's the human part of
Hmm.
a soul journey. The human connection to the soul is the ego. The ego tells us when we need to eat. It sometimes gets out of hand and tries to boss us around and other things. They should just mind their, go sit in the corner. But I do
Hmm.
feel like that it is sort of a, we've been talking a lot about snakes and shedding skins, and this area has just, I don't know what's going on, but there's snakes everywhere. And so, um, spiritually or metaphorically, a snake skin is about shedding an ego. It's like when you just get down to um, you're content and grateful with right where you are. There's none of that battling of I want, I need. It's being content right where you are. And I kind of have a little mind game I play with the gremlin in my head, when I
Hmm.
feel like I just feel like it battles against me, and I'll just say, just go sit down in the corner. I'll consult you when I need to eat, or it
You're
just,
putting yourself into timeout.
yes, 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 because we really do a lot of um, self sabotage, and
Mhm.
working through, when you are working through spiritual lessons. I mean, if you're listening to an astrology program, you're interested in more than just um, a 3D day to day life. You're looking for more. Your soul feels something, not sure what. And there are many modalities that explain these in the esoteric. So um, the tarot and other modems, it's like our subconscious is trying to get our conscious mind information, right?
Mhm.
We're living multidimensionally. And I've noticed in my little existence that, I say that to people, and it just does not connect. And then I feel, I just feel eccentric and misunderstood. And, it's a battle of just be okay with how you feel, whatever it is. And if you're struggling with it inwardly, I think things like writing and creative arts and any kind of get out of your head, go for a run, bike ride, anything that gets your mind off of that worry energy.
You
And
know, I don't know what's going on astrologically, but in the whole past week, I've been feeling anxious, having like negative energy. Now, partially it could be my fault because I was ingesting all kinds of stuff on media, and so that could be due to personal like self-destructive behaviors, right? Like, I know I shouldn't go there, but I was attracting towards it. Now, is there anything that's going on
so,
celestially in the past week and to come that's bringing on these negative energies?
so that is a good description for a square to Uranus. So this new moon with Sun, Moon, Mercury touching that square to Uranus is very revolutionary. It makes your blood want to just get free. It's about space travel, time travel, all the UFO stuff, other worlds. So that is also opposite where Saturn has moved into Aquarius now. And so Saturn in Aquarius is just, so Saturn is so formal and buttoned up and, the teacher and the leader and the do-gooder and follows the rules, makes the rules, and is the authority and makes you think about authority and how you feel about your own authority. Saturn is the government. Aquarius, ruled by Uranus, is I want to be free. I want to revolutionize a new way of all these old things and the way they've gotten done. Uranus rules the internet. So when the internet hit the scene, I believe somewhere in the early 90s, that was a major conjunction of Uranus. So anything that's space age, esoteric, astral travel, astrology talks, tarot readings, all of these spiritual kinds of tools is how I look at them. It very much into focus. And what I've seen online that's so interesting is tarot card readers with, say, a grassroots journalist, right? So it's those are unique relationships, and Uranus is all about unique and doing things different and it being sudden and unexpected and revolutionary. We're all sort of revolutionizing the way we do things, all of the working more remotely, working more on the go. Everything seems to be moving towards we're on the move. I've seen more RVs in people's driveways and, had a couple of friends, move to the mountains. It's all about, I want to be free. I want to be out from under authority. It's just a real positive change in how things are getting done, but we have to go through this excruciating kind of pull through a knothole to get to the other side. But so you're feeling exactly what's been going on. There's still been some Mars conjunctions in that, and that brings up anger, right? So Mars is the warrior. It's like it's not patient. Now, one thing that does help this energy with Saturn having moved into Aquarius out of its home in Capricorn, Saturn in Capricorn, where it's been for a couple of years, is all about you're going to learn to be patient.
Yeah.
Nothing else. You're going to sit still. You can cry, whine, whatever you want to do, but Saturn's going to sit you still and learn how to be patient. Well, now it's moved into Aquarius, which rules electricity. So you've got a very stoic, stern kind of energy and a very electrical kind of planet. And those two, you might short circuit, right? You might have a period of things real smooth and then, suddenness, something sudden. It was real weird. We are on two different coasts, but both experienced hiccups in our power yesterday.
Yes.
That's very Uranus squaring this new moon configuration. And it's so much more than just a couple of planets. I mean, these are trends that have been building for about 3 years. In December of 2020, it was at its intensity. And then we're in this ripple fallout, so to speak, of, okay, now we've shed a few layers of skin or ego or whatever you want to call it. Maybe you've shed physical material possessions, because I just noticed people are on the move. They want to be free. Get me to the open prairie or the open field.
Right. It's almost like people don't want to be repressed very much, like what's going on in, what's going on around the world these days, And so, yeah, definitely.
It's a real test too of our own sense of humor, because some of the things I know around here are just so absurd. You just can't do anything but shake your head and pray to God that it's over soon, because it just doesn't make sense. And this is really dumb, and I don't know if any of your viewers watch Judge Judy, but I
Mhm.
used to a long time ago. And Judge Judy has this saying that's just perfect. And it's, if it doesn't make sense, then it's not true.
Mhm.
And if we
Mhm.
applied that more to our lives, if it doesn't make sense, now it doesn't mean that
Right.
we're going to know what the truth is, but at least we can be questioning, just question everything is the
Right, and it's a time for using discernment from what I can feel, and, really think more for yourself rather than, just, believing in something aimlessly.
yeah,
And I really do like those new energies that are coming through because now's the time of questioning. If you could just sit down and really reflect on what's really going on. Is it real or is it fake? That's another thing that came to me, which everything is coming together kind of almost synchronous,
yeah,
with the whole astrological thing and also some of the things that I've come across through my Buddhist studies,
right.
which is kind of like strange. And so I just don't
Have you
have the
tried?
time,
I'm
you
sorry.
know. No,
Yeah.
I just don't have the time to kind of piece it together, but I did give bits and pieces towards the collective about um, my new findings. And so, and you had mentioned it's a time to do projects. I wish I had more time to do projects, but it's like at the same time, I have so much that I want to do, but so little time because I'm fatigued, I'm tired. And I
And
don't know if these planets are actually making you feel this way also.
I'm really glad you brought that up because this is a wonderful way to combat that fatigue. And it's totally quantum physics. It's totally magical in that if you want to have more time, slow down. It's really weird how that works. We
So
tend to,
take you a salt bath and sit
yeah,
and time out.
yes, yes, yes. And all of the essential oils and minerals and crystals help our energy for sure. The
Mhm.
moon cycles, as we get to August 22nd, we're going into an Aquarius full moon. Okay, so
Mhm.
here we are at a Leo new moon, and in about 2 weeks, we're going to have that Aquarius full moon. So this
Mhm.
next 2 weeks is a wonderful time to just get off of the treadmill, like get off of the routine. Just
Mhm.
anything each day that you can do that's a little different, just little things. It's amazing how that energy will build. And in the meantime, slow down and take your time. Take your time walking to your car. Take your time. You're getting into a 5,000-pound vehicle, buckle up, pay attention, have your mind on the road. I mean, just basic, slow down, stop and smell the roses,
Mhm.
because we chose this journey to come and be here at this time. And I mean, that's one philosophy. I'm not saying everybody has to believe that, but that's what astrology would say is, we're chosen when we want to come to live and be. And I
Mhm.
think that part of what we're experiencing is the humanness is assimilating with the spirit, because these are
Mhm.
extremely, like, we've been through the last 2 years of some pretty heavy Neptune energies, and this is all about spiritual awakening.
Mhm.
People searching for information, these once taboo or looked upon negatively things like astrology or tarot or runes and all of these different, what I just call ancient healing arts. I mean, these things have mystery to them. We don't even
Mhm.
really know some of them, the beginnings, and so that can't make it. I mean, everything can be used for wrong or right, but we're
Mhm.
here on a journey of light and helping people that need to, work through anything that's holding them back from fulfilling their full potential. We are here to prosper. The universe is abundant, and it's only our own mindset that we might, feel lack, or, I know with twin flame, it's all about getting over feeling abandoned and rejected and unloved and unwanted and just really horrible negative feelings. who knows why we would choose to come and just want to have a spiritual journey that goes through all these generational kinds of lessons. I believe, I think that,
Well, I think that whoever decided to come here at this time really sincerely feel that they could actually help themselves and find their person and to overcome like these difficulties during this time. It's almost like the warriors, right? The warrior spirit, you
yeah,
know, and it's because you've been through it all.
yeah,
And I really feel like, you know, for the ones who chose this mission, feels like they've accomplished a lot and they can succeed in this lifetime. And so it takes a really strong person to really deal with this. It's not very easy. And so, you know, like you said, you know, we have to have patience. We have to use discernment. We have to kind of, you know, figure out like how we could handle ourselves.
right.
But it all comes through like personal experiences, and everything is happening in this divine time, is what I'm feeling.
And trust
And
that, we're just
yeah,
trust that there's something greater than all of us that is beautiful and strong, and we're not here to suffer. If we are suffering, it's something we are working out from another time, or of course this lifetime. But I just think that we're in days of generational healing,
mhm.
where people
Well,
are more
and I
aware.
think that there's, like, different twins, that are here on different missions. There's a collective that is here to heal those generational, karmas from ancestors and things like that. And then there's the twins that are here to teach and guide the collective. For some, you have to do it solo. It's a solo mission. That doesn't mean, you know, you could be with your twin, but, in hopes that, you know, once you've been on mission and your person as well, then maybe at some point you guys could actually come together, you know. But I feel like, you know, you have to do the work first. You know, you can't just say, here you go, here's your twin, you know,
You
have
mentioned,
fun.
yeah, I don't know where this came from, but it is part of the Buddhist philosophy of the bodhisattva. And this is
Hmm.
the enlightened soul that stands in the middle of the desert, simply pointing the way to the light.
Right.
So, I know through some of my hardest times, it just seems like the only thing that I find peace in is I'm a body of light. A
Hmm.
lot of things we go through are out of our control to a certain degree, and we just have to try to stay light. It
Hmm.
sounds kind of cliche or simple, but
Yeah,
when you
because the
really,
only thing that we could really control is ourselves. We can't dictate or, you know, try to baby someone or you know, all the only thing we can do is to give guidance and wisdom towards other people, and they could use their own decisions because everyone has free will.
well,
And
what
so,
I think readings do, whichever mode people go, I find it's really just you're confirming for that person, things they felt. It was
mhm,
just nice to have a little confirmation that, quite often I'll hear after a reading, some sort of, yeah, I'm glad that there's a reason for that,
mhm,
and even though it's maybe spoken in a kind of an odd language about planets and signs, um,
right.
it works in terms of just trying to find some kind of contentment amidst chaos. And I do
Mhm,
believe that is the essence of a spiritual journey, is the bodhisattva. You can be grounded and stay in sovereign, is a word I've heard you use a lot that I really like that word.
mhm.
You
Yeah,
know,
you have to like, you know, claim yourself and don't let other people control you. Only you can control yourself, not someone else. You
right.
know, once you let someone control you, then you've given up your rights, you know?
And Uranus is all about that freedom,
Mhm.
freedom,
Yes.
revolution. And it always like changes the way a very long term kind of pattern is, whether that is a software program, a relationship. You apply it to what works in your life. But
Mm-hmm.
Uranus square is when there is a system of some sort or a pattern in a person's life that's going to get upheaval so that it can find a new way to do that same thing, but just better.
Mm-hmm.
Uranus, it just, I keep getting the word upgrades.
Yeah, kind of like a evolution, like,
Right,
like
right,
a version. Well, if you're talking about software, like version, like,
right,
2.0, right?
right, right. And, now with 5G and, there's so much in our environment in the atmosphere that
Mhm.
we respond to energetically, and that's where I think that it would be helpful for all of us to be mindful of how these energies changing in our environment affect us physically and emotionally, and to
Mhm.
try to be aware of that. Like you were saying, if you feel really tired, yeah, Uranus square building up to a Mercury Sun Moon opposition to your Saturn. Yeah, that's exhausting. So then maybe I don't know, I'll work really hard physically doing stuff, and then when I'm just worn out, I always have a notebook where I make notes about things I want to try to do, or ideas, or projects. Just trying to, you know, we kind of touched on it last time. Those nuns that live to be over 100 years old. Well, how do they do that? They're always learning something new. They're always using their mind. And
Mhm.
that's really important. I think we've all sort of been somewhat passive for a while. And the new age, and the Saturn Pluto conjunction from last year, I mean, astrologers have foretold this time in mankind for centuries. So we are living in history. We're living history. And you can either look at it as, oh, I hate change. I don't, it's so inconvenient or it's so uncomfortable. Or you can say, wow, we are pioneers. We are free and going to wow, our creativity and relationships are healthier. And you get, the message. It's like if you're seeing someone and they're doing the thing that the last two did, and that didn't get you where you want to be, then just address it. Don't
Mhm.
hide it, or don't
Sweep it under the rug.
I mean, it just festers, right? Is ultimately going to come out anyway.
Right.
Excuse me.
So, oh no, you're fine. And so, like, you had touched based on the two Aquarius moons, right? So we just had a passing of the last full moon, and then we're going to the accumulation of the next Aquarius full moon, with now today being the new moon in
And Leo.
Leo.
Yeah.
So, where's the correlation from the last Aquarius moon to this one that's coming up? What is the revelation there between the two moons?
Well, I think that you said the perfect word, revelation. And I think
Mhm.
what it means is readdressing things from the past, because we've learned and there's revelation.
Mhm.
So,
So, like, the last full moon was like, "Okay, this is what we know," and then now after the whole cycle gone through, with the Leo new moon giving the oomph to
well, and
push
Leo
people.
too is all about honesty. Is
Mhm. So
very hard.
being, honest and being integral
Right.
to kind of, be true to yourself and do what the right thing, right?
I mean, haven't you
And
all
then
kind of heard over our lifetime, do you follow your head or do you follow your heart? Don't we all struggle with that?
mhm,
We have this intellectual processing of, well, I really ought to da da da.
mhm.
I have this feeling that just, but I don't wanna, and so I've come to the conclusion at my fine ripe age, I'm officially a senior citizen. Oh my
Well,
gosh.
you don't look it, honey. You're
Well, the you know that makes it fuzzy or something. But anyway, it's um, really just knowing that every day, you know, you have yourself. It's a gift. You're a gift. And whatever you have to do on the slightest, smallest way to get to that thing in your heart that is warm and good feeling and makes you feel safe, that's what we have to work towards. And
Mhm.
I can say for myself, because I can't believe how much of my life is gone. And I just can't believe it. But I can say that as I've gotten older, I feel there's a lot less time to waste. And so I tend to be sort of abrupt.
Mhm. Like, kinda get to the point, like, "You're
Right.
wasting my
Right.
time."
Right. You know, I might have a stroke tomorrow. So
Right.
I don't really mean it to that degree. I'm trying to be
Right.
funny, but no, I just think that we're in days and times in humanity where it's so
Well,
weird.
time seems like, I don't know. There, time
It's like a
around
big
this,
circle of
I
sorts.
don't do you see where I'm going with this? It feels like everything is, like, on a time limit with a certain energy,
Yeah,
and, if, things, don't really work out in this time, is there going to be a repeat of this? Is this, like, the whole, like, global karma that we're going through, or is this, like, an individual thing? Is accumulation of, everything all together because,
I've heard it
um
as it's a simulation and it's however you choose to see it.
mm,
Right? So we all have our backgrounds and upbringings and environmental experiences, and we are expressing them all based on those experiences, or where we live, you know, what
mhm,
country you live in, what is society in that in your area or whatever. So we're all uniquely different, which this is so wonderful. So let me go a little more about Aquarius ruled by Uranus, because that's where all this energy is sort of coming full circle.
okay,
Aquarius rules the metaphysical. So where I talk a lot about it, Uranus and Aquarius rule the internet and electronics and computer and software. If you really want to dig back to ancient times, and it's all about the metaphysics and quantum physics and things you can't see or understand or feel. Or more, it's about learning to feel, like I said, in your
mhm,
heart. Society has a way of programming our ego to believe, well, we're supposed to do this and then that and then that and then that, and then we're done. But Uranus and Aquarius energy is all about you are unique. Each
mhm,
person is unique. And your mission here is to figure that out. What
mhm,
is the unique you? And that's what these times this year, the remainder of the year, that's the challenge. So people like me that have been metaphysical all my life since I was
mhm,
very young. I love this energy because I
mhm,
like just how I've been more outspoken to people, because I feel like things are not as they appear.
mhm,
And we should be questioning everything, and we should be thinking about what's going to fulfill our heart and what do we want to do with the next chapter of our life. And
mhm,
all of the little dramas that go on, there may or may not be true, are just a distraction, you know. And I just do, that's the only challenge about Uranus and Aquarius is attention deficit. If you
mhm,
already have attention deficit, this energy is very challenging because Uranus is electricity and changeable, and you know, it's not at all like nice, even kill. This is about being
mhm.
flexible, being spontaneous, having fun with that, you know, right?
Right.
Right.
Mhm, mhm,
Um, I think it was about 5 years ago. One of my New Year's resolutions was I needed to have more fun in life because I work all the time. And one of the things that I was missing for a really long time was live music. And so I would start looking on calendars around areas and venues, and I'd buy a ticket and I'd go see some show. And it was just my way of trying to say to the universe, I don't want to work all the time. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I'm out here, I'd like to be more creative and have more fun. I don't want life to be just drudgery of one crisis or drama after another. But I
Mm-hmm.
don't think anyone's going to come up to us and say, hey, go have more fun. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
We have to
But
decide
you just
ourselves.
actually created more fun for yourself in the past
Yes,
week because you took a couple days off
I did.
and you really took care of you.
I live kind of in the suburbs, and I headed to the country, and I visited some Amish people. Um,
Oh, is there
I,
Amish in Virginia?
yes, yes, and I bought
Oh.
their hand done butter and all kinds of lovely
Oh.
treats. Yes, and so that was very the ride in the country for me is what it takes for my energy to decompress, because I feel like when you're around city and more people, that's
Mhm.
a lot of energy, right? So if you're
It
sensitive
is.
and empaths have to constantly be trying to protect that energy and not absorbing negativity from people. And especially when you're metaphysical, people are going to throw darts at you anyway or judge you because you're weird.
Well, see, honey, I've been feeling those darts all week, and I'm like, where are these darts coming from? And it's like a lot of negative energy, but I know that I'm absorbing their negative energy of where they're getting their source of negative vibes from, but also like some of the self-imposed, negative vibration I was bringing onto myself. And that's when I realized that I just need to cut off the computer, not spend
Right,
so much time like looking at the news and stuff like that,
right.
and really decompress, like watch something more lighthearted.
Go walk
And
barefoot outside on the ground, on the earth,
oh yeah, that's really therapeutic.
lean up
Hmm.
against a tree. Just decompress, take a deep breath. Life is way chaotic. Uh, I don't know. I would like to think more of society as awakening to spirituality.
Hmm.
Um, I still think there's a long way to go, but I guess we pray that we
well
find.
well I would give it up to this. There are more spiritual people now that I feel, but are some of these so-called spiritual people really spiritual?
Well, that's
No, not really.
yeah,
Because I could still see that, they're kind of borderline, but not really. They're just like kind of getting into it.
right.
They're kind of new to this whole spiritual, like, how
You,
do
tr-
you call this?
you triggered a memory. So
Oh, did I? Go ahead.
yes, when I was divorced back in 1989, I went to meditation classes as a way to try to, just feel better and process what had been going on. And
Mm-hmm.
we had this group, and it was channeling, and we all went through it where we just thought we were better than other people because we were doing this, you know, and I mean, that's just the ego. It's just like no one's any better or different than anybody. We're all just trying to survive the best we can, and
Uh,
then you just would go through a whole cycle. And there were people who were really dedicated to it. They would, they stayed with it for years. I
mhm.
don't know. I have a lot of different interests, so I like to think I'm one of those nuns that's going to live to 100, where I'm always learning something new, and it keeps my mind organic and growing, and always, you
And
know,
keeps you afloat.
yeah. I don't want to just be sitting here in a chair, turning to moldy cheese or something. But I think there's something to. And a lot of what I learned from that couple of years was the watcher, to
Mhm.
develop the watcher in your mind, that to somehow watch how you're responding to things that trigger you.
Mhm.
And if you want to analyze stuff, analyze, what are you doing to yourself? Why are you thinking something one way when it couldn't? It's is probably the furthest thing from the truth, right?
Right. It's like you're building up a narrative in your mind, and it's not true, and there's no facts to kind of base your figment of imagination for,
Around and around and
exploding.
around we go, right?
Yeah.
And so developing the watcher means that the brain and the mind is a muscle. So it's like if you're starting to think about something that makes you feel sick in the stomach or really down, then you have to figure out, well, don't go there. What do you have to do and I think a lot of purging happens, a lot of
Mhm.
writing, a lot of talking to friends with like minds, a lot of um, recognition that life is complicated and people are complicated. And uh, I know for what I have felt over the last couple of years with thinking I had met someone that was going to be in my life and not, that I've gotten really clear on what I want in a relationship. And I'm
Mhm.
willing to just be alone until I can have what I want. And I'm not willing to settle or compromise. I've done that plenty of times in the past. It's not served me well.
Mhm.
And I've been on my own enough to know that, even when something breaks down, I can figure out a way to get it done. And
Mhm.
that's all very healthy, right? To not always looking to someone to depend on to do, And so I went through this grief therapy when my brother committed suicide. And I want to share this exercise with everyone because it's probably helped me more than anything in my life.
Okay.
It's called a loss grief inventory. And there's not a
Mhm.
whole lot of rules, but basically get yourself a piece of paper,
Mhm.
draw a line horizontally,
Mhm.
and you're going to start left to right, and you pick what year you want to start. And you put when you first remember losing something that was very painful, a death,
Mhm.
a divorce, anything, a job, just your first memory of something very painful to lose, and put that year on the bottom of the line, under the line. And
Mhm.
you think about, okay, after that happened, what good came out of that? And every time you'll think of something, well, if that hadn't happened, this would not have happened. And when that positive revelation comes to you of what came out of that grief or that loss, you put that date, it could be months, it could be a year or whatever, on the top of the line. And you go to the next loss. Okay, you know, my things were kind of like, what good came out of losing my mom, right?
Mhm.
We were
Mhm.
real close. It was probably one of the worst things I've ever been through. Well, I got really close with my dad. Okay, that's a positive thing, right?
Mhm.
So I lost a brother to suicide. What could possibly good come out of that? It was tragic. It was tragic.
Mhm.
Well, I can tell you that really dishonest, horrible people that I thought were my friends for like 20 years were not.
Mhm.
That's hard to recognize, but it's very good to figure out because they only wanted you when you're down. You know what I mean? And if you could
Mhm.
come out with something positive and good and they want to still keep you down, those are not your friends, right?
Wow, I'm sorry you had to go through that.
Well, it's all about friendships being loving, supportive, and nurturing. And if it's
Mhm.
not, then do something to get yourself in a more loving environment. My point
Mhm.
is that once you do that process in your mind, you recognize that from everything you've been grieving or have grief for or have lost, something good grew eventually. For me, by the end of it all, I just recognize that we are very resilient. People are resilient. We are adaptable. We're fighters. We have a spirit to live and thrive. And when loss and death and things like that happen in our life, well,
Mhm.
maybe it's a way we mature into that is life. We come, we're here, and we leave. And so,
Mhm.
I think for anyone dealing with a lot of grief or feelings of loss, just take a few. I worked on that graph for a couple of weeks. It's not even something you do at one sitting. Just be thinking about, if you're holding on to that grief of something you feel you lost,
Mm-hmm.
then something about writing it down and seeing it on paper has an effect on the mind. And watch
Right.
your mind, watch how
Mm-hmm.
that's what I was talking about, developing the watcher to, you know, try to get down to pinpoint what are the grievances or griefs or losses
Mm-hmm.
specifically that you're spending energy on, right?
Right.
And
Mm-hmm.
I know when I divorced my ex-husband, I started my own business. I probably would have never done that had I stayed married to him. But,
Mm-hmm.
you know, going through that, it was horrible. But then, 3 to 5 years later, when I'm self-employed and thriving, I'm like, job, wow, didn't see this coming. And that's my point is, we are wonderfully creative, adaptable, organic human beings with a spirit of gold. So go out there and just take tiny little steps, this new moon and over until this 2 week period is just a wonderful time to pin down your details about what you want to do next. And I think with the energies, the universe will help you manifest that pretty easy.
So, do you really think that this is a manifestation period, even though we have to sit back and just be in timeout?
This is really be careful what you think because it will manifest.
Okay, so do you hear that, guys? Make
Yeah.
sure you keep your vibrations high, think positive
Yes.
thoughts, whatever you want, you can
Yes.
manifest, but you have to think very positively about it. You can't be in a negative Nancy,
Right.
energy or
You'll get what you
vibration.
think. You'll get what you
Mhm.
think. So,
Wow, you
yeah.
get what you think, guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what I mean about develop the watcher because we all
Mhm.
want good, right? I don't think
Mhm.
there's anybody really that wants to seek out negative experiences. We
No, but I think people do a lot of negative self-talk because of what the external circumstances always show in front of an individual. Because a lot of people are too engrossed in their 3D
right.
rather than connecting with their 5D, knowing better. But I think it's because we're so supposedly in a linear time frame. It's very hard for
Yes.
people to look beyond the three dimension and how we could be our own manifestors of what we want, especially on the twin flame journey, you
Right.
know. And so it's really difficult. So, but just think about this, guys, just because something didn't work out, well, like what your rejection was for your protection. And maybe this thing was all divinely guided, and there's a season for a reason, right? And
Yeah.
so,
Little, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, so now's the time to just think those positive thoughts, because I've been channeling for my collective at least, that there's a wave of twins that are actually going to get contact or, actual reunion with their person this time around. Now, I
Well,
know I'm not speaking for everyone, but I do know that there is a handful, and I know that all twins can come into union simultaneously, but that doesn't mean it can't happen, right?
that's right.
It's just like, positive thinking. How much have you worked on yourself? Did you sit in time out, or did you keep on going, without stopping? Stopping to smell the roses, like what you said earlier.
Yeah.
And I think that a little bit goes a long way. If you just sit, reflect, you meditate, just be gentle with yourself, nurture yourself, work on your ideas, good things will come, if you have
Slow
good
down.
intentions.
You have more
Yeah.
time when you slow down. It's the freakiest thing ever.
Well, I've been slowing down since I think after Friday because that particular reading was telling me that I need to shut down because I got that card, put the computer away because I know I was indulging in too much like social media in terms of news articles and stuff like that, right? Guys, I ain't gonna lie. I like my news. You know.
Go walk outside, get some sunshine, feel the earth under your bare feet. Um, it really, I think it is all about how we look at it.
Mhm.
If we see,
Yeah, your perception is your reality. So you have to be very careful where you take your mind, and what you're actually doing with your physical life also,
yes,
So yeah, I agree with you 100%.
it's really an exciting time if you look at it that way. Like I said, I
Mm-hmm.
think people who've been metaphysical, these it's like surfing. We're like hang ten. We love this energy. We
Mm-hmm.
love things getting stirred up because the whole status quo and sort of simulation of some kind of Ozzie and Harriet show or something. I don't know, but I love seeing things move and change. It gives you hope that miracles happen and you can have that thing that you didn't think you could. And it's just focus and sincerity, just that's what this time is for. This month is, a lot of the outer planets are retrograde for the summer, and that's how you get that dibbed lazy days of summer, because energy is slower, and maybe in other parts of the world that would not apply, but I'm basically talking from my neck of the woods. But so it's a real
Mm-hmm.
good time to get very specific about what you want to do, um, and believe, because I really have seen it happen that if you put a sincere thought out to the universe, it will come to you. Maybe not the way. I think another thing is worthy of mentioning here before we leave is give up control. Give up how you think things should be, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just live in the moment, and with your watcher fully engaged with how are your emotions getting triggered by this or that. Um, and instead of responding right away, just sit with how you feeling,
Mm-hmm.
and why. And it's amazing sometimes how you'll come full circle, like, I just did that to myself. That wasn't anything anybody did. What I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I just managed to send myself in a whole little rabbit hole, worried
Mm-hmm.
and upset, and, don't really know anything. But I don't know. Sometimes I've thought that we do that to distract ourselves from difficult feelings to deal with internally. Because it can be a challenge to be alone, to cry it out, or, embrace the depression. I mean, that our society kind of like, oh, don't be depressed. Oh, don't, oh, be happy. These are very real and true emotions that our body is feeling. And I've
Mm-hmm.
always connected cancer to repressed anger. I just think there's some connection. Louise Hayes did some work on that for
Mm-hmm.
curing herself of cancer through the power of her mind. And I really believe that connection that we have to manifest what we believe. And so think only that you're healthy and thriving and abundant. And on the other part of a spiritual journey that I think gets kind of lost in translation is you don't have to be poor and have nothing to be spiritual. You know,
Mm-hmm.
the universe is abundant. Um, Things are created here for us to enjoy. In
Mm-hmm.
astrology, a lot of times people come to me who are just really down. They just really want to know. And I've always said, we are not here to suffer from point A to point B.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, well,
let's,
and I think that with the Buddhist philosophy that I've been, picking up on, it's about how we can liberate ourselves from pain and suffering.
right,
It's all in the power of the mind. It's all what we make it to be.
yeah,
We can change, how we feel. We have to use, our inner guidance to just let it go,
yeah,
release. It's okay to feel, but don't cling on to those energies.
right.
Cry it out, work it out and let it go,
Yeah,
because it's going to be temporary. You're not going to be depressed for your
yeah,
whole life,
yeah,
unless you want it to be. I mean, if you want to like stay depressed, you have free will to stay depressed, but you have the will to change, I mean, and I can understand that, in certain circumstances, it could be like grieving, like a loss of a loved one, or, like a pet, had passed, or anything like that. And those are very hard energies to deal with, and it may take years, but, just know that when, an animal or a person passes, it's just their physical form, but their spirit is always with us.
Thank
And
God.
that's the beauty of that, we're all interconnected, and death is actually, a liberating experience, because once you die and you cross over, you no longer have these, human,
Pain to the
senses.
mind.
Yeah, it's gonna be okay,
Yes, it is. It's more than okay. We're in
Right, and then
extremely
we have, our decision, do you wanna come back? Like,
right, 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 right.
you wanna go back on that wheel?
It's fascinating. And I would like to thank you for allowing me time to share bits of astrology with people who might be interested, because it's just one of those other ways to explain things in a real chaotic kind of world. And
Mhm.
it gives me comfort, and I've seen it give other people comfort. And you do a great job with your channelings and readings and helping people. And I think that's all we can do is just slow down, take it a day at a time, make each day as meaningful to you as you can, and follow your heart. Get out of the head and find that faith in your soul that believes why you're here and what you're doing and what you want to do next. And I know that it can run into really complex domestic and family situations. I mean, we have karmic contracts with these people that are in our lives. And so,
Right.
but all of it is a chance to watch how we react and watch our emotions and learn from that. And it's a daily thing. It really is. It's daily.
Yes. Well, thank you. Thank you for, coming on board with me for today, especially on your birthday.
No, thank
Uh
you.
Yeah, and I really hope that, everyone here had, at least, some kind of takeaway,
Yeah.
or a nugget of information that's going to help you personally. It's always refreshing, to really have other people here on the channel with me, and it's really nice, because it's not just one person; it's for everyone. You know.
We're in exciting times, and so we all need to just help each other get through. Sometimes I think of it as that machine on a tree truck that takes a huge stump and it goes through this saw, right? And
Mhm.
it's like our energy. It's like we each help each other to keep our vibe high, because there are times when our vibe, we're going through something and it's in that down grind, like, until we get freed again. And certainly having people like you to talk to and reach out to. And it's wonderful. And we just need to keep finding like minded people. And if it doesn't
Right.
feel true, if you're with someone or meeting people or doing something and it doesn't feel true, it's probably not. So,
Right, follow your intuition, follow your gut. Is this person really for you, or is this like, someone that you're just learning a lesson from? You know, and if you really don't know, I mean, you can always book a reading, right?
right.
So yes, if you guys are interested in getting your natal chart done, with Sunny, you can go ahead and book with her. Her website is, let's see. Maybe I put up the wrong one. Here, let's see. I can use this one. W
www.mountainhealing.com. Lion
Yes.
Mountain Healing.
LionMountainHealing.com. And, Sunny can do a natal chart. Now, she has done one, for me many, many times. And I am so appreciative that, you actually take the time to do those, check-ins with me.
It's
Yes.
really.
And so, she's very thorough, and, And I really enjoy like when you write those for me as
Thank
opposed
you.
to actually doing like a live reading. I mean, I'm not saying that the live isn't all that, but we do talk, right?
Yeah, we
But
too.
to get the written astrology report from you,
Well, so
it's
one
always
thing that
nice.
I've noticed about readings over the years is when they're in person, we can record them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, because there's a lot of information, and the mind kind of might get like delayed on something is said and then miss the next two things. So when it's written, you kind of go over it and then marinate on it, and then you might go over it, and so I just think it's just very soulful kind of work. And so it's not like this is going to happen tomorrow and that's going to happen next week. These energies
No,
are very, flowy, and there's a general feel of the period that a person is in based on the progressions of their natal planets and what is transiting currently. So it's very interesting, and I love it. And anytime I can have time to talk about it, I'm in my element.
yes. And so this is well, hold on, let me make sure that my address isn't on here, but so you've actually done something for me for my birthday. I still have it, yeah, with me. So thank you for doing that. And so this is something that Sunny has pieced together for me. And I don't know what it says. I don't know. I can't read this chart, but she did write something here about me and my twin. And everything that she's said, I really feel is true because she would actually do my side, which everything was pretty much on point. And so, if everything was on point for my, side that I could, validate, I'm pretty sure it's actually happening for my twin as well. And so, I'm very thankful for her. As opposed to going to like another tarot reader per se, to get like a tarot reading done. I absolutely love the perspective of the astrology report that she gives to me because I really feel like this is exactly what I needed to know around those times when she would, produce these for me.
I really
Most.
believe that it's an ancient language and that our souls are connected to ancient energies. And there's
Mhm.
something in it that just resonates to people deeply. And it's really an amazing language. I learned something new from every chart, from every person. Everyone expresses their energy differently. So, my main thing is just trying to address whatever is causing discomfort or pain or grief in that person at that time. These planets are always moving. Your natal planets are always progressing. So, readings change. I generally recommend annual just because of the solar return. You can get an outlook for the following year. I think
Mhm.
that what I've noticed in twin flame relationship charts, it's very, very, very esoteric, maybe is the
Mhm.
word, but there are always 11 degrees. There are things, placements. Your chart's full of 11 degrees. I
Oh
do,
yeah, I have two 1111s in.
yeah. When I do twin flame charts, 11 degrees are everywhere connecting those two charts. It is that's so interesting to me. Numerology is a whole nother sort of science. And,
Mhm.
you just can't make that up. You just can't it's mysterious, and I think that's why it's so interesting, is because you really never really get to the uh, it's almost like there's something ancient in our soul that thrives on that mystery of the universe.
Right.
Call it faith or connect.
Mysticism or
Yes, yes, there's something there. And more and more people are waking up to wanting that.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
so I'll give you a little astrological anecdote. So Pluto moves very, very slow, and there's generations of people that you know, my generation was born with Pluto and Leo, your generation was born with Pluto and Virgo, my nephew is Pluto and Libra. So those Pluto generations, this is kind of how we could look at it in modern times. So Pluto in Leo was when Hollywood got big, big glamour, big movies, big waste. Leo likes it big and grand, right? And so then Pluto and Virgo comes along. These are the environmentalists. You know, they don't want
Mhm.
waste. They want to take care of the earth, clean up the earth, because the generation with Pluto and Leo has trashed the earth and been very wasteful. And then the Pluto and Libra generation is all about, you know, justice and balance. And that's the work life balance of the younger generation in the workplace, which teaches
Mhm.
old people like me to take a vacation because we're workaholics generally. So, but it's very interesting to see that, you know, generationally, astrology does have footnotes that explain things socially in humanity,
Mhm.
not just on a one-on-one individual's person, but you can track wars, you can track uh, royalty, you know, dynasties of countries. I mean, there are astrologers who do nothing but what's called mundane astrology, which is the astrology of countries.
Mhm.
I had a great friend. She did weather forecasting using astrology. That was all she focused on. And it's amazing how, when you get these big storms, if you look at what the planets are doing, it's really amazing. And
Hmm.
then stock market, there's several astrologers that use astrology to forecast what the stock market's doing. So there's all
Well,
different
maybe we
traits.
can do that for another future segment for all of my people who are into astrology with money and finance, right, guys?
Well, I
Like,
there's infinite possibilities, and again, I am just so grateful for you indulging me with the astrology, and hopefully people gain something from it positive that they
yes.
can use in their life every day to feel better, to feel
So
calm.
I do see that there are some people here in the chat. Jean Gutierrez, so she wants a twin flame chart map. So yes, you can
Oh,
get one with Sunny.
yeah.
Just go to lionmountainhealing.com and I believe what is it, cartography? I can't pronounce that.
Astrophotography is a taking your natal birth chart and putting it into the map of the globe and the meridians of the orbits of those planets. It's believed, for instance, if you live in the closest to your Venus meridian, you're going to find love. If you live near Pluto, you're probably going to have a lot of rebirths or starts and stops. So that's the concept, is that wherever you live is the vibration of the orbit of that planet. Um,
Mhm.
so that's used a lot of times when people are considering moving, like they've been made a job offer to move to a different state, and you know, just getting a feel for, is that a right move or not.
Right.
Vacationing, I've done a lot of those kinds of maps for people. You know, a lot of people use astrology about when to travel. Mercury is all about, you know, when it goes retrograde, you probably don't want to be traveling. It could cause delays and lost luggage. It's not hard and fast. And certainly there's millions of people that don't give astrology their first thought when they go to plan something. But these are just some of the concepts that I've come across with practicing astrology.
Oh, well, from what I know, every time when we have like a Mercury go retrograde, it's always a good thing to know. Like, yeah, you shouldn't go on a flight unless you have time to burn, right? That's what I've recognized, around those times. And, in starting projects, I actually started a project during a retrograde period and I tried to launch it around that time and, thinking that now this situation is not going to stop me from launching my new project. And it was a bust. I mean, it was just slow moving.
So
But it
Mercury,
was.
so Mercury retrograde goes next retrograde September 27th. So it starts slowing down about 10 days before that.
Mm-hmm.
And it will be direct October 17th, and you allow about a 10-day shadow period after that.
So at least we're safe during the holidays, right?
Let's
Kind
go
of.
far. It goes retrograde 4 times a year,
Uh-huh.
and for me, what I notice the most is computer snafus. Like it tends to mess with electronics.
Oh yeah, trust me, honey. My computer broke twice during retrogrades.
I've had a phone die and a printer die. I'm having some printer issues now, but anyway, we work through it, right?
Right. Well, you can always count on me,
Thank you.
since I can help you with that electronic techie stuff.
Yes, yes.
So let's see here. The link is
Oh,
scrolling at the bottom of
let
the
me
feed.
say one thing about when they go to the website. So,
Okay.
I get notified that you've contacted me, and the next thing I'm going to do is acknowledge that and thank you. And what I need to do charts. So, if you want to be getting that information together, it's the month, day, year,
Mm-hmm.
city and state of birth, and the time of day as best someone knows it. And let me address that. If you have your birth certificate and take your time of day from that, the connection of the time of day used to create the chart correlates with timing. So when I do a natal birth chart, I then progress it for 1 year from the time of the closing. So maybe someone's thinking about changing a job, right? And they're looking for timing on that. That's the connection between wanting as exact of a birth time as possible. Now we can get, when I don't have a birth time, we always start with noon. And there is a
Mm-hmm.
process in astrology called rectification, where we do take, it takes time, and we take events in your life and we rectify the chart to come up with the time of day. That
Mm-hmm.
takes a lot of work together, and I do that, but people need to understand that is a process. So if they don't have a birth certificate, sometimes if they can ask a parent or a family member, do you remember anything? But if they don't have a time, we start with noon and we go from there. Um,
Right. But
so
if you want like a super accurate reading or close to it, having the birth time would be ideal.
Yeah. So we always start with noon if we don't have it. I do a lot of twin flame readings where I'll have the exact time for one person, but we don't know it for the other person, and we use noon. And
Mm-hmm.
I've always believed that the universe presents a chart in front of you for a reason. So there is going to be information there to talk about and to resonate. The exact time of day has to do with like months, years, like that sort of looking down. When a planet crosses a axis, things usually happen. So you can tell that. Um, but if your birth time is off, it might be a little off on the timing. It's not that the chart is off, it's the timing of when that thing might
Right.
happen. That's the connection on the time of day. So yeah, and so it's not terrible if we don't have a time of day, but it does help with the accuracy of making predictions, which
Okay.
is really
And
what
so
people want.
yeah, so for just the collective, and I'm very curious too. Now, when they book a reading with you, could they ask something specific, like
Absolutely.
when can they come into union with their twin, or like?
Certainly, certainly. And what often comes out of this email exchange, because I like for people to direct me, well,
Mm-hmm.
direct me what you want, because I might get down a thread that I see that you have no interest in at all. And usually I will ask someone, is there a certain focus you're looking at? Or sometimes people just do that blessing of I want the highest information that I
Right.
need at this time, which I believe is always a nice blessing anyway.
Mhm.
And so we exchange through email, and even after you've received the report, I ask for any follow-up questions, and if I get more information based on someone's feedback, because just like your cut with the manicure, okay, I knew Mars was making a touchy aspect in your chart, and to be careful around sharp objects, but until you told me the manicurist cut my cuticle, I
Mhm.
would not have connected that. So that kind of feedback helps an astrologer, that was
Oh,
the
yeah.
expression
I
of that
was shocked.
energy.
Guys, like, she
It's
told me so much other like, she said something
weird.
about, like, my sinuses being affected, be careful of sharp objects, and, there was something else that has nothing to do with my love life or anything like that, and I was like, "Wow." Yes, she was
Weird.
on point, and
It's
I
a
was, like,
language.
kind of shocked. I was
It's
like,
not me, okay? It's not me at all. It's a language I've studied forever, and every astrologer does interpret different aspects and combinations differently. I can only say, you know, we all as readers, reading for people, draw from our experiences.
"Mhm,
And so, generally, when you're reading and you get a memory, there's probably some connection. And if you share it with the person, they'll probably be able to relate, like, oh, yeah, 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 yeah. So,
mhm,
this too about our new age and a spiritual awakening is said to believe that we will go back to the times of like Atlantis, where we did communicate telepathically. We could
mhm."
move our bodies and transport. Uh, so we are moving more and more into this energy of the esoteric and electromagnetic energies around ourselves and others. Um, so yeah, growing up and stuff, I could hear people's thoughts. It's how intense it would be. And
Oh,
I've
I can hear people's thoughts, and
yeah,
I'm like,
I just try to like anymore. I just don't want to hear. I want to just keep it, keep it to the language of astrology. I do know that things come to my mind. I have no idea why they come, but I have learned that you have to say them because nothing else
right.
will come until you say it. But
I had the biggest issue, like, starting the channel, and I questioned myself a lot, like, "Should I say this?"
mhm,
And I didn't know if it was a right thing to say because it didn't make sense, and, basically, you just have to follow your intuition, because you're actually just being a channel. It doesn't have to make sense to you, but it may towards the other
it
person, you
always
know?
does. People will always say, "Oh yeah, da 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 da," and I'm like, "Well, I had no idea that's what I was saying or what."
Yeah, I was like, "I don't know from ship from Sherlock, but this is
Yeah,
coming to me, so
yeah.
listen up," you know?
And the rest of the time, I'm just kind of like la 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 la. Don't want to hear. I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear. It's like just I
It's
need.
like, "What why is this thought crossing my mind?" I
Yeah,
don't know.
I know. It's a tender balance, is all I can say. Right? It's like
Uh-huh. And
you
then sometimes it's like, well, when can you just, shut that off? Does everybody have to know about that?
I think
Sometimes you
it's
have to
around
feel like you have to keep it to yourself,
I think around water. For you and I have lots of water energy in us in our
Mhm,
charts, and water really does help with that cleansing, you know, picking up stuff that isn't even belong to us energetically, and just water being by it or under it in a shower. You can
mhm,
just feel so much better. And that's really a good practice for everyone to, you know, break a sweat every day, or get around water, just do something, because water and the electrical energy that has its own relationship. And we need to be very aware as times build over these
mhm,
next couple of years, because it is a shift in a lot going on,
mhm.
and it's fun and exciting, and we need to embrace it and be pioneers. We're spiritual pioneers in a new land.
Yeah, I agree.
Mm.
So, all right, guys. So, do you guys have like any questions up to this point before we let everyone go?
We
Any?
stayed like over a couple hours last time, so we're trying to be mindful of everyone's time, and we can probably go on and on and on and on.
Oh, I know. I mean, because I know you and I, Sonny, we can keep it going.
We have
We
lots
can
of
talk about other stuff,
yeah.
that is not related to astrology.
Well, I like all of your products, and um,
Thank you.
this is probably not the place to do it. But while I'm thinking of it, I was going to ask you about putting your, a link to your shop on my website so people can go and see. You just are making beautiful things and needed things. These different essences and bath bombs. I mean, these are really easy things we can all be doing to constantly being aware of our energy, being
Mhm.
cleansed and on high vibe, and just don't tolerate people being negative to you or around you. You don't have to do that. And
Yeah, so whenever somebody wants to be nasty or negative to you and just tell them politely, "Look, I don't have to take your nasty ass attitude, okay? So you can just go somewhere with it, right?" And you could be really blunt with it. You don't have to be gentle. I mean, because even though Scorpio moon is, very nice in nature, like I can be blunt too at the same time,
we want to keep it honest. I mean, I think that's the real thing is we are in such chaotic times, and there's been a lot of
Mhm.
fear, there's been a lot of negativity, that we have to keep it honest, because
Mhm.
we're finding out and learning that we've just spun our wheels trying to create some kind of simulation or something.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so,
Yeah.
we're in new times and a new age, a spiritual awakening. And those of us that have been metaphysical and in spirituality for, if you're a heavy Scorpio, you've always been spiritual. It just comes with the territory. But, more and more people are wanting to know more about, I think, just what they're here to do. And in the chart, that's all about the North Node. So, and that comes with part of a natal chart is your North Node is what you're here to stretch out of your comfort zone. And your South Node is past lives and what you've done many times. It's very familiar. And
Mhm.
I've just noticed people seem to be more interested in what is their life work, or what are they looking to do to fulfill their heart. We've all been doing
Well,
this
yeah.
stuff that fulfills our mind and our what we think we should do, but now it's spiritual awakening and the transits that we're living here for years. Really, this is not a fast moving transition at all, but
Mhm.
that it's about you know just be honest with yourself and don't be afraid to be yourself.
Mhm.
Gosh, I've had so
Right.
many people make fun of me about being an astrologer my whole life, and um, you just it just can't bother you any. Just you just have to do what's true to you, and
Right.
hopefully the people that you know can resonate will love you and you know
Well, but, also, just doing like being a channeler, reading tarot and stuff. Not everyone accepts it, or believes in it also, and so it's actually
and
something
that's
else
okay.
that people look down on, you
Yep.
know.
It's
But
anything that's metaphysical, and people it's fear. So anything they fear
mhm.
must be wrong or bad. And certainly there's
Well, I think it's the logical point, also. Like, how could you, make this, into something that's fact, you
yeah,
know?
yeah.
But with astrology, at least you could, it's a map, it's a map of the stars, and there's at least something that you can go by,
Well,
you
and then the
know?
variable there is free will, because the chart will show you all the potentials,
Mhm.
everything, there. But then there's that rogue ego that just might not want to,
Listen,
deep
like,
dive
"Nah."
into a spiritual path, or it's just that's what I mean. We're all trying to survive, do the best we can, and if you're introduced to something spiritual and it resonates with you, great. There's people like
Mhm.
us around, and there's plenty of people that think we're crazy and would never come around.
Because it's not scientific or backed by, facts like, by medicine or anything, that's I don't know. I don't know who actually could say that, in a way where I guess you know where I'm going with that.
Well, and I keep
Mhm.
thinking about in the 70s, Louise Hayes kind of broke ground with her book called You Can Heal Your Life, because she had been diagnosed with cancer. And through the power of her mind, she lived to be 94 years old, and she just
Wow.
died about 5 years ago. I might be off on that. But my point
Mhm.
is that book really affected me early on. My copy of it, the binding is all falling apart. And what is it connects, like, if you're having a physical symptom on something, it applies an emotion to it, and then it gives you like an affirmation to shift that negativity to that will take care of that symptom that's coming out in your body, right? And so that to me, it's just so interesting how we can affect our experience, and like, knee problem is about flexibility, hip problem, moving forward, just some very basic things. And um, but here's the key: it's just like free will. You have to believe your body can heal.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
if you only believe that the doctors can heal you, this what I'm talking about won't work for you, because you'll go into
Right.
it with the mindset of so long
Because
time
actually you're just pushing away the healing process. Like,
ego.
it's almost like, yeah, it's ego and also, like, not really following, your higher self, and because your ego is getting in the way.
Yes.
So,
Long
yeah.
time ago, my mom and my dad and I went to a hypnosis to quit smoking.
Mhm. Mhm.
And my mother and I went there with them, and we just wanted to quit. We just wanted help to quit. And my dad was counting the number of people in this seminar and how much it cost ahead and how much the guy was making by having this event, right? My dad was smoking on the way home. My
Uh-huh.
mom and I never smoked again. It's really weird, but that's what I mean about you have to believe your body has that power to heal itself. I
Mhm.
can't tell you, a book can't tell you. Somewhere you have to believe that you have the power in yourself to
Mhm.
heal whatever
Mhm.
is hurting. And
Oh, that's interesting. I think I have to pick up a copy of that book. I
it's
think you sent
awesome.
me a picture of it one time when I was asking about, I forget. I think you sent me a text message, but I remember you sending me an excerpt from the book
I
about
love
one of
that
my
book.
ailments.
It's
Mhm.
I love that book.
I think it was the sore throat.
Okay, so something to communicate. You have something to say. There's something
Right.
that needs to come out.
I think I always had that issue, and the last time, I vented, and it actually did help a lot, so
And
thank you.
zinc. And zinc. Zinc is very good for the throat.
Uh-huh, zinc, yeah.
So a
Okay.
combination of just very easy is kind of easy to get things in your mind. That was her whole premise. And her meditation, for anyone out there that's dealing with someone, my whole family has died of different cancers, so this impressed me a lot. But her meditation on cancer was the analogy of the cowboys circling their wagons, like when they would be going across the frontier and come under an Indian attack, they would circle
Mhm.
their wagons to try to protect from being attacked. So she would do a meditation envisioning the wagons circling the cancer cells in her body.
Mhm.
And the whole thing is consistency. You got to believe in it and you got to do it. You can't just
So
talk
did she do that, like, on a daily
about
basis? Like, and for
it.
how
Yes.
long?
And I don't remember, but I also know her diet played a big part of it too.
Mhm.
Natural, organic, non-processed foods. So anyway,
Okay.
that's that's a Louise Hay, and again, she died. at not turning, she was 94. Uh, Hay Publishing, that is her publishing company.
Yeah, I have a lot of cards, tarot decks from Hay
Hay
Publishers.
House. Yeah, Hay
Mhm.
House, right. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So let's go ahead and wrap things up here. So let's see here. You have a set path on your property. I can walk it blindfolded. Once I stop keeping it clear, I realize how much timelines shift around. Wow, that's interesting. Witnessing shows nearly poked an eye on a branch.
Okay. See, we love this creative energy. This is all about Aquarius and
Uh
Leo.
huh.
Yeah, our month of August is all about the Leo Aquarius axis, and that is all about eccentric creativity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Well, I think it's time to get creative and
I
stop
think so.
procrastinating, right?
Time, yes, and to do it big and even throw a little metaphysical stuff in there and that creativity, whatever that
Mm-hmm.
is for you. Yeah.
Okay, so let's go ahead and wrap things up. Thank you all for everyone that stuck around for the live, and thank you again, Sunny, for being here with us and sharing your knowledge and expertise towards the collective. And for anyone who would like to book a reading with Sunny, go ahead and check her out at linemountainhealing.com, and you'll be pleasantly surprised with the reports that you'll be receiving from her. Just know that you need to supply some basic information from her so that she can do a thorough reading for you. And it will take her maybe like a week or so, right?
10 days.
Before,
Yeah. I'm shooting
yeah.
for under 10 days. Yeah. I had a little setback with some hardware equipment.
Okay, so just know that she's not Speedy Gonzalez, guys. Okay, give her about a week or so to get a return back on your personal report, and please, let her know, or let me know that you've booked a reading with her, and share your experience so that we know that it was very helpful for you, because I know personally she has helped me over the years, and I'm so truly grateful for her gift. And so thank you
I'm
again.
grateful for you as well, Scorpio Moon. You do
You're
beautiful
welcome.
work. I love everything that you do. And I appreciate
Thank
you letting
you.
me come on here and talk shop.
Yes, yes, let's do it again.
We'll do it again.
All right, bye guys.
Bye bye.
All right, bye.